Instead of following my true calling by doing hair tutorials, I decided against my better judgment to take out some telephoto lenses and see, does a Leica 200mm prime in 5.7K match up to a full frame Desire hood of 4K 120p? I still think it doesn't. And Olympus 100-400 on a GH6, who would even thunk it? I did.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
I got a glimmer glass filter for the Canon. Oh, take that. Highlights? Oh no. So my buddy over at Discovery Camera came over and he had the Olympus 100-400, and for some reason I was thinking, my Leica Prime is so good, I bet even at 200mm, if I just cropped in post, it would beat your 100-400 in the pants. And then I also just brought the Sony out to do the same type of thing. We had fun. So first what I did, just indoors, we did a low light test. Leica 200mm is cleaner, less shadow noise, because we're both at 200, but the Olympus is at like 2017. But when we crop in, 400mm true versus 400 cropped, I am not sure what I see. One's really dark. Let me just brighten that up. I feel like the Olympus is maybe a little sharper, but it's barely so, and there's much more noise. So I have confirmed, just in this little test, that having a prime is fun. Then we went outside and I noticed a couple things. So at 200mm on both, the Leica looks so much better. There's so much more tonne, a little sharper, a little more contrasty. The superiority, even if you punch in there, it's like, wow, Leica for life. And the stabilization on the Olympus was quite jittery. It was noticeably pretty bad. It's just that dual sync doesn't happen. So it's like optical stab is on in the lens, but what does that even mean if IBIS is doing something different? I don't know what happened in Micro Four Thirds. It started off as a partnership and it was Panasonic and Olympus. I don't know how that, I should research this more, but somebody probably has. Maybe Panasonic starts first. I'm just guessing history. This is worthwhile. We'll learn something. Panasonic starts off, they make a camera. Olympus is like, cool camera. Well, can we join? And they make one. They didn't ask. And then it's like the same mount. And they're like, can we use your mount? I'm like, okay, that's weird. I could have just made your own. And then, okay, we'll share lenses. And then somebody did some dirty trick where it's like, by the way, we have an aperture ring. It's only going to work on our cameras. And then Olympus was like, yeah? Well, our autofocus is going to be better. Phase detector. And then they separated paths like two hated brothers, like the first brothers. But things got very interesting when we went out to 400mm and he crossed the street. And I was like, I think the Olympus is sharper now. Panasonic autofocus struggling so hard I can't tell a damn thing. But yeah, I think it is actually better to use a 400mm lens than crop in post. Even though the prime superiority is there, it's not. Discovery Camera is making a comparison with that Olympus 100-400 versus the Panasonic 100-400 on his channel, should he ever get around to it. I'm being held hostage right now, delaying this video until he gets a sack and uploads the damn thing on his weekly schedule, if not monthly. But it's quite the difference. If it's at 200mm, like, it's the superior shot, but it depends what you're going for. Do you want to fill the frame with somebody or a bird, if you're doing that for some reason with telephoto lenses? It's like, yeah, I feel like there's a limit to this. Like, if you really wanted to fill the frame with a bird, you'd probably be better off with the Panasonic 100-400 than the 200mm prime. You'll get a better shot. You can't just crop till infinity and hope you're going to overcome every of your problem. But there's a limit, I guarantee it, that the Leica 200mm would be better than the Panasonic 100-300 at 300, just cropping in, because that thing's ghetto. It wasn't as sharp as the 100-400. So there's limits to how far you can push the crop. But like if you're in 5.7K and you push in, like people are used to 480, 4K, what the hell happened to my brain? Watching on a phone, it's like no one cares. So Leica Prime all the way. It's cheap, really cheap, I promise. The real thing I wanted to see was, is Panasonic 5.7K sharper than Sony's 4K 120p? I think it even isn't. I don't even think it is. I feel like the Sony's sharper, but I can't. I'm watching these files skip back at like 3 frames per second here, trying to play both of those, even though I made proxies. I obviously didn't make them right. Sony has the better separation, looks sharper, more dynamic range, shadows lifted. It's beautiful. It's damn beautiful. The one thing I will say, for some reason, when I started filming on the Sony, I didn't even look at what the focal length was at. Like I had this whole idea to like match everything, and with that internal zoom, you never know what you're at. So it could have been on anything, like 300 mil for all I know. I don't know. I have no idea. But that's kind of embarrassing for myself. Owning a Panasonic GH6 with the prime Leica lens, their best offering, a 2.8, like 4,500 Canadian new, cannot match a Sony zoom in a lesser resolution. It's budget option. Ow. That hurts, man. What are you doing to me? Punching in on the detail, it's very close, but like, don't judge my words right now because I'm seeing this play back at 3 frames per second. I won't know until I fully render it. But like, it looks like the Sony's doing better, and it's at least in focus the whole time. Stabe, I don't know, they're both jumping all over my screen. The rest of the video is going to be filmed on the Octava microphone plugged into DaVinci Resolve. Are you feeling that heft? Was it an improvement? Oh, I just brought it out of the woodworks. Something went haywire with the whole interface and it wasn't working for a long time, and I just abandoned the whole thing. But if this works, I can do it sometimes. I was going to do it the whole time, but then I realized you can't record in DaVinci and then go watch your clips in DaVinci. That's a lame excuse. What the hell's your problem, DaVinci? So what I learned today is Micro Four Thirds is trying to keep up with full frame, but it's kind of sad that they're not really doing it. And the most budget full frame option, like you could probably do like a Canon RP with the 100-400 RF lens. Take a picture and then replicate that on a Panasonic and the RP wins. I do like using it though. It feels like fine art. You get used to it and it's like, okay, not bad. But the second I see a deal for something better, I am pouncing and selling. I don't know, we'll see. I am interested in like this Canon R5 Mark II or something. AK60 RAW, okay. 100-500, it's a bit expensive. Or a Nikon Z9 with something new. 200-600 if it ever comes. Those excite me with like animal eye detect. Oh man, that would be so nice to have sometimes. There's times that birds fly and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna get in manual focus. Yeah, just come here. I've done it. I have done it successfully somewhat with the Sony. It's so hard, you're gonna miss 90% of it. But the one moment of magic is worth it. I saw a deal the other day, I think it's already gone, so it's not even an option anymore. I don't know why I'm dreaming about it. But it was like a Canon R5 with the 100-500. It was like 7,000 or something Canadian, and I was doing the math. If I could sell my GH6, I would still lose like 2.5 grand. But to think I could upgrade, it might have been downgrade. Not really, but it's in the ballpark. The sad reality is I have 2 of the best wildlife cameras and I only have access to seagulls, squirrels, squirrel babies. I've never seen one. Hibernating raccoons. I don't deserve what I have, and I won't use what I need, but I could still dream of upgrading. What else do you upgrade in life, if not camera gear? I've looked. I bought a water distiller. That could be good. Thinking of an infrared sauna. That'd help you with the teenage girl skin. Lighting, that's not important. So who won the battle today? Did you notice anything after the video's rendered? You guys are better experts than I am. You point out things that I'm like, oh yeah, the green tint. Yeah, I see it now. Oh wow, that is magenta. I didn't know what was wrong with it. So thank you for being smarter than me, and how dare you, I'll delete your comment after you buy a Sony Reptilian t-shirt. You could subscribe.